Hello and good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us this evening for yet another Edge series talk from the alumni class of 2005. Today, we're going to be talking about fulfilling your dream in the Nigerian medical space. I'll be your host for today. My name is Dr. Akeshola Ogundia. I'm a pediatric consultant here and lead consultant for the neonatal unit on the Isle of Wight St. Mary's Hospital. I'm also of cardiology, pediatric cardiology background by training. And I've been privileged to be a member of the class with everybody you've heard speak so far in this series going forward. So today we've decided to go on to fulfilling your dream in that Nigerian medical space. Now, from my personal experience, few places are more daunting than the Nigerian medical space. Having gone through education in Ife, which I still think is the best university in the world, regardless of what anybody else says or thinks, we all know the challenges that face all of us. And especially for you guys on the cusp, on that precipice of leaving medical school, lots of things will be swimming through your head, some of them very popular, others probably not so popular. But in all of this, the key thing is, what do you want for yourself? For some of us at that time, we're disillusioned. We didn't see any way forward. We didn't see if anything could ever work in Nigeria or how things were at that time. However, thank God, some people have more strength, more insight, more vision than the rest of us. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been privileged to have someone like our speaker talking to us today. And just before we proceed, I'll just give a few housekeeping rules. If you're not speaking, please just mute your microphone. Once we get to the question and answer section, after Dr. Badmus has spoken, you can unmute yourself, raise your hand to ask a question, or you can just type it in the chat box for the rest of us to see. We'll try to go through all the questions as soon as possible. Also, if you have further need for mentorship or discussion with people in specific fields, please feel free to email us at the email address, which will be put in the chat box very shortly once the discussion actually starts. So talking about the Nigerian medical space, it's daunting, it's scary. However, in that same space, we have people like Dr. Badmus. Now, as a quick introduction to Dr. Badmus, Dr. H.D. Badmus is the Medical Director and Chief Executive Officer of Hospital for Trauma and Surgery, Victoria Island in Lagos, Nigeria. He is a certified spine fellow at the AO Spine International, Cape Town in South Africa. He's also a musculoskeletal oncology management consultant with the Japanese International Cooperation Agency in Tokyo. He's also had vast experience at the Tata Memorial Hospital in Mumbai, India. He is a fellow of the West African College of Surgeons and also a fellow of the National Postgraduate Medical College. Dr. Badmus finished from OAU in 2005, like all of us in the class. And he went through his residency again in the best university in the world, Obafemi Awolowo University, and then decided to launch out into this hospital, which has fast become the foremost spinal and orthopedic and trauma hospital in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm pleased to introduce to you Dr. Akeem Badmus, who will be talking to us today on fulfilling your dream in the Nigerian medical space. Thank you. Dr. Badmus, you have the floor.
Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here with my colleague, Dr. Alaba Ogundia. We've been very good friends through medical school till date. I was in his place a couple of, let's say, just a few weeks ago, if I'll put it that way, just in December. And he was a fantastic host as well. These are part of some of the people that inspire you to want to do well when you look at how they excel in their own space where they are. Well, I'm a practitioner here in Lagos, in Nigeria. Unlike quite a number of us, I have not left the country yet, and but still pulling through. in Nigeria. So I kind of like thought about it and said, what can we add to the knowledge that is already out there? A lot of people already know how to prepare themselves and, write exams and travel out of the country and, seek greener pastures. But the question is everybody going to leave this country? If there are 150 of you in a class, in a set, it's not likely that 150 of you are going to leave Nigeria. Now, if 50 leave Nigeria and there are 100 of you in Nigeria, does that mean that those 100 are not going to be successful? The answer is no. So the question that begs to answer today is, how can you achieve that dream? How can you achieve that vision? How can you be successful while you're in this country that is as difficult as it presents itself to all of us? I'm going to be sharing my screen with you shortly. I hope you all can see this.
Yes, sir. We can see it very clearly.
All right.
It's not in presentation mode, though. It's online.
Is that?
It's on the online mode. If you're comfortable with that, then that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So, sorry. Okay, so I'll just scroll and we'll just talk about it. I like this quote, and I just thought that I should start with it. And it says that to accomplish great things, we must not only act, but we must also dream. And we must not only plan, but we must also believe, meaning that you must, at every point in time, have a dream, and you must believe in your dream and believe that you can achieve your dream. And this is a very good way for us to start this discussion today, because it borders on everything that we're going to be talking about. All right, so the question I need to ask is, what is your dream? A lot of people have mistaken dreams to be having a nice car, building a beautiful house, being able to go on vacations, and all that. But is that really what a dream is all about? A dream is your aspiration, your ambition, your ideal. It encapsulates everything that you see yourself becoming in the future. So it embodies even your personality. What kind of doctor are you going to be? Who do you want to be in the future? So your dream should not be influenced strictly by the material things and the perks from your hard work, because those things are almost going to be a given. The question you ask yourself is, okay, I've bought the car and I've built the house, and I have a fat bank account. What next? So if you set your goals based on these factors, then you will quickly achieve them within a short time. And then the next question is, so what's the next thing you're going to do with your life? Does that mean life is now over, haven't achieved a nice car and a beautiful house? So you need to understand that each person has to have a very clear vision of what they want their future to be. And the question is also, what would you find yourself doing that gives you the fulfillment or defines the essence of your living? If you can answer that question objectively without the influence of your environment, then you probably are as close as possible to defining your dream. Because it has to come from inside, it has to come from your passion, it has to come from, what you have, a strong bond with, helping people, being able to provide the best medical care possible, being one of the most compassionate and empathetic doctors who is able to touch lives and make a difference and help the poor, if that is your dream, being able to change the entire landscape of medicine, being a top researcher, and being able to find one of the cures to cancer, you know, those are things that you may aspire and have an ambition towards. Being able to set up one of the topmost institution that is going to save lives, you know, on a daily basis in the tune of thousands, you know. Now that is something that is bigger than just having a car and having a house. So you must always be able to define, you know, what is that thing that's going to give you fulfillment and is going to, you know, make you feel like, yes, this is the reason why I'm here. Then the next question, the question also is, where are you going? So right now you're all in medical school, and everybody hopes to become a doctor. At this stage, the chances are greater that you become a doctor than not. So is that where you're going? So on the day that you're you graduate and you know you do an induction and you're now called doctor, is that the end of your dream? Is that the end of your vision? I guess not. So the question is, where do you go from here? Are questions that you must ask before you start to define, you know, where you're going to locate yourself. So the next thing is, what are the components that make up your dream? It's essential that having identified what you want to achieve, you need to identify the key landmarks that help you get to your destination. You know, I'm a surgeon today. I dreamed about being a surgeon right from when I was in medical school. I wanted to be one of the best hands, being able to treat patients, give them the best care with, you know, as minimum complications as possible, being able to, you know, offer my people in Nigeria the best in whatever surgical field I'll find myself in. That was what I dreamed of becoming then, a surgeon. And when I said, okay, I want to be a surgeon, then the question that you now ask yourself is, what is it going to take to get to that point where I'm now, okay, a surgeon and then able to make an impact in my community? So I need a degree, obviously. So if I need a degree, what am I doing to be able to achieve a degree? And then now you've gotten your degree. Once I get my degree and I'm a medical doctor, then what do I need to do to go in the direction of my vision? I need to probably write some exams and pursue postgraduate training. Okay, now I go after postgraduate training, but is that going to make me one of the best people in the world? No, the world is becoming a small village, it's a global space. So what am I going to need? I'm going to need international exposure. To be able to get international exposure, I need to apply for programs. I need to go for fellowships. I need to go for trainings. I need to go for, you know, conferences. I need to be able to present in conferences. I need to be able to meet other people of like mind from different countries and be able to, you know, share ideas with them, compare notes in patient management and all that. So those are the things I need to do to advance my medical career. Then, okay, now I'm a surgeon, or when I become a surgeon, what kind of surgeon do I want to become? So that comes to mind. Do I want to be an academician? Do I want and find the new method in which I can fix, you know, a degenerated knee? Do I want to go into humanitarian services? Work with Doctors Without Borders and be able to give them my best? Or do I want to go into business? Business in the sense that, do I want to establish something like the Apollo's hospital, chain of hospitals that you have in India, in Mumbai? Do I want something like the Cleveland group, you know, and open clinics all over the place, you know? So what direction do you want your profession to go to chase after? So you have to determine that very early in life, because those are questions that are going to help you answer the direction in which you need to find yourself going. And it could be a combination. You don't have to be a straitjacket in one category or the other. You can actually be in the business of medicine and still do humanitarian services, or you can be in the business of medicine and still go on to the academics, whichever one suits you. The other thing that you now need to do is identify institutions that align with your dreams. So I want to be an excellent surgeon. Which organization trains the best surgeons? So I have ABU Zaria in Nigeria. I have University of Calabar. I have Obafemi Awolowo University in Ife. I have University of Lagos. What area do I want to go into? I want to go into orthopedic surgery. Where do they have excellent training services for orthopedic surgery? Oh, they're very good in Ife. Oh, they're very great in Ibadan. Oh, they're very fantastic in John Hopkins or something like that. And you say, oh, okay, I'm going to King's College London, or I want to be able to have the training, and I believe I can get that training in University of Jos Teaching Hospital. So you define what institution aligns with that dream. And then the next thing is, how do I partner with this organization? Or how do I get into this place? How do I tap from them? How do I learn from what they have? And then even when you have now gotten all that you need to get to, and then you now need to start to administer your services, you also need to identify an organization that has the kind of vision that you have going somewhere. If, for example, you're an oncologist, you studied the treatment of cancer, and you want to work in an organization, you probably want to work in a national cancer center. You probably don't want to come to a state primary healthcare center to work, because as an oncologist, you're not going to find the kind of support service that you should get in a primary healthcare center, or maybe in a state-run hospital that is not known for management of those kind of conditions. So at the time you're done with your training, you also have to ask yourself, what institution can I, be associated with that is going to promote my dream? So you want to go into humanitarian services, and then you go and start work for a private organization. How do you do that? It's a conflict of a vision. So you can't have a vision to travel around the world and help the poor, and then you're going to work in a private organization. It's not going to work. All right, Mr. Freeman.
Sorry, can we all please mute ourselves if we're not talking? Thank you.
All right, thanks. So I'll just go ahead. So having identified the institution, then the next thing you want to ask is, what is your own definition of success? At what point, at what stage, or what are the things that I'm going to achieve that is going to make me say, I am now successful, I have achieved my goal? So don't get caught up in a rat race. A rat race is a race that never ends. It's like a maze. So you want to become a doctor, you become a doctor. You want to be a consultant, you become a consultant. So you want to get a master's, you get a master's. Oh, you want to get a PhD, you get a PhD. Oh, you want to get another fellowship in cardiology, you go and get another fellowship in cardiology. Oh, I think I want to relocate to Australia. You relocate to Australia. Oh, I want to start residency in internal medicine again. Oh, I want to start another training in pathology. You go into pathology. Oh, now I want to do a PhD in pathology. Look, it never ends. So don't get caught up in that rat race. You need to be able to define yourself and define your dream, define your goal, define where you're going, and know what your success marks are, to be able to say, yes, now I can settle, and now I can grow, now I can build on this that I have achieved. So your goals must be smart, if I put it that way. And smart being that you must have very specific goals, very, very clear, very specific goals. I want to have a 50-bedded intensive care center able to manage the most complex critical conditions in the southwestern part of Nigeria. That is a very specific goal. How do you go about achieving that? So I want to be a professor in medicine, and I want to run a research on genetics of whatever disease, condition, and everything like that. Very specifically, how do you want to achieve that? You know, so you must be very specific, and your goals must also be measurable. Measurable in the sense that how will you know, when you've reached it? At what point will you be able to say, oh, yes, I have reached it? So if your goals are not specific, then it'll be hard for them to be measurable, Then the other thing is that they must be achievable. Achievable doesn't mean within your capability or within your limits. No, because you need to push yourself beyond limits sometimes. So when we're talking about achievable, we're talking about it has been done, it can be done, there are ways in which it can be accomplished, Then the other thing is, can you realistically achieve it? Oh, yes, I can go for this program, have this training done, do this. When I was going to be a spine surgeon, there's no spine fellowship training in Nigeria, even right now as I'm speaking to you. Any person who is practicing spine surgery in Nigeria did not have a training in Nigeria, primarily. You must have gone abroad and you must have had your training outside of the country. So was it an achievable thing to want to be a spine surgeon? Yes. Was it a realistic goal? Yes, it's realistic because I could apply for international fellowship programs and I could go for those programs. And I was able to sponsor myself, go for those programs, pay for my accommodation, pay for my feeding, take care of myself for the period that I'm there, because I needed to get to a particular target. And then finally, you also need to ask yourself that, is it something that you can do in a timely manner? When exactly do you want to accomplish it? So I'm giving myself 6 years to become a doctor, and then I'll go for my house job, go for my NYSC, and then I'm giving myself exactly 6 years to become a consultant. That is the story of Dr. Badmus. I finished medical school with all my colleagues in 2005, 2006, I was in house job, 2007, I was in NYSC, 2008, I started residency, 2011, I wrote my Part 1 exam, passed it, 2014, I wrote my Part 2 exam, passed it, and I was out. I was a consultant already. No delays at all. So can you work with a timely goal to be able to achieve what you want to achieve? So if you can, then you set those timelines for yourself and say, okay, within this time and this time, I'm going to be able to do this. So I'm going to talk about executing your dream, the process of executing your dreams. Now that you know what you want to do, you need to identify what sacrifices need to be made. So you need to ask yourself, in terms of friends, what sacrifices need to be made? In terms of family, what sacrifices need to be made? In terms of religious commitment and activities, what sacrifices need to be made? Social activities, what sacrifices need to be made? I see a lot of people say, oh, they want to do this, they want to do that, they want to write exams, they want to travel abroad, and they're not giving the time that they ought to give to preparing themselves for these things. And so you keep finding yourself falling short because you're not able to give what it needs for you to be able to give, to achieve what you need to achieve. The other sacrifice you need to make is finance. So you want to achieve a goal, it's going to cost you X amount of money to be able to sit for certain exams. It's going to cost you X amount of money for you to be able to go for certain trainings. It's going to cost you X amount of money for you to be able to buy textbooks that are very necessary for you to train and prepare yourself and qualify for certain, you know, things that you want to achieve. Then the other thing is define who you are on the journey. So a lot of people have lost themselves, they've lost their essence in chasing after this dream that they're talking about. And sometimes a lot of people have even derailed in the process of trying to achieve certain things. I'll give you an example. You start off being a very compassionate medical student. You come into the ward and then you see patients, you see them in abject poverty, not able to pay for their surgeries, and you see them suffering. And then you come together as students and you say, let's contribute money, let's pay for this person's surgery. Oh, let's contribute money, let's give this woman money to eat. Sometimes your friends don't even know. You just remove 100 naira from your pocket and you just put in the hand of this patient relation so that they can go and buy drugs that they need. You know, you start off in a very compassionate and very, very, you know, empathetic manner. And then maybe you now become a doctor and then you now find yourself in a private place. And in that place, everything is money. You know, everything is about business. Everything is about cutting corners, sharp practices, how to milk people off. That person paid 10 million. Hey, this other one, that's how we do it. So you need to collect this money from these people. And then you lose your person. You know, so you must guard who you are along the journey of trying to achieve your goal. Or you find yourself working in a government hospital where they shout on the patient, they kick their relations out, they talk rudely to, you know, the family of this person. If you don't have money, just get out. Come back when you're ready. I don't have time. Next patient, come inside. Where's your results? Please go. And then you now become that person. And you know, down the line, somebody's looking and is wondering, like, who is this person? Why is this person like this? You have to remember that the people coming to you are human. And these people are people in their own rights. These are fathers in their own houses. These are mothers in their own homes. These are proprietresses, and these are business owners themselves. So when they come to you, they're coming to you for help. And how much care are you able to show? So are you going to lose all these things in your journey of, or your pursuit of what you want to achieve for yourself? At what expense are you going to achieve what you want to achieve? So it's important that you define who you are as a person on your journey. And then if you find yourself in an institution, in a place where there's a conflict between your person and the practice, then you have to take a moral decision and say, no, I'm not going to be a part of this. And I don't want to be this wicked person. I don't want to be this difficult person. I don't want to be this hard person, you know. Then the other thing is you need to sharpen your focus. Your focus provides the clarity necessary to make decisions that support your most important goals. So you must sharpen your focus. You must always remind yourself why you are where you are. So when you're going through a difficult time, when some things are looking hard, when maybe you treated a patient, you lost a patient, and relations are all, you know, coming to fight you, don't give up. You must always remind yourself why you are here. You must always tell yourself, well, when things are so difficult and you're in a residency training and they're not paying you salaries on time and things are quite tough and you're not able to, you know, afford a good car or something like that, you must always remind yourself that it is 3 years, it is 5 years, it is 6 years. I'm going to achieve what I need to achieve, and I'm going to get out of this place. If you're under somebody and you're under the tutelage of the person, and the person is being so difficult and it's not easy working with the person, you must always remind yourself also, why am I here? And what am I doing, you know, to achieve what I'm to achieve in this place here? So you must sharpen your focus and know exactly why you are where you are at every point in time. The other thing is you must build your competence. You must have heard him say that I had a training with Tata Memorial Hospital in Mumbai, which is oncology. I've had a training in the National Cancer Center in Tokyo, Japan for oncology. I've had a training in Groote Schuur Hospital in Cape Town, South Africa for spine. You know, I've had one training or the other in DC and in the United Kingdom. I've gone for courses and all that. So here and there, you're running here and there, Focus Ghana, anywhere. I had a professor emeritus from the Hospital for Special Surgery, who recently retired. He is the professor emeritus of spine. It was so hard getting him. If you go to New York, you can't get this person. There's so many people queuing up to train under this person. And he retired, and then he came to Ghana and he set up a practice. And guess what I did? I wrote to him and I went to him and I stayed with him for several months and learned what he had to teach in spine, and then came back to Nigeria and continued to practice my spine. So anywhere the knowledge is, anywhere I can get my competence. He could have been in Liberia, he could have been in South Sudan. If I knew that that was where I would get the best, then I would go there and I'll get it. It didn't have to be UK, it didn't have to be United States, it didn't have to be Australia or Canada. So you must build your competence and you must find where you can go to be able to build that competence. And then you must make sure that your passion is always ignited at every point in time. Never let the fire down. So fulfilling your dreams in the Nigerian medical space, I'll soon be done. You need to ask yourself the following question: is my dream region specific? I'll give you an example. If you came from Kogi State and you grew up in the rural part of Kogi State and you saw your people suffer, and you always dreamed of going out, training as a doctor, coming back and building the best free healthcare facility for the people in your state, and being able to provide excellent service through international funding without the local people paying a dime. That is your dream. Then anything you're doing that is carrying you to Lagos or that is carrying you to London is deviating away from your dream, because your dream is to set up a world-class free clinic in Kogi State to be able to meet the healthcare needs of the people of Kogi State. So if your dream is region specific, then you must tailor everything you're doing towards that region. Unless if you're going to go and train and then come back to that region, otherwise you should be in that region to be able to build that dream for that region. But if your dream is not region specific, then the question you should ask yourself is, can it be achieved anywhere? Can I be an excellent pediatrician anywhere in the world? Yes. Can I be an excellent dermatologist anywhere in the world? The answer is yes. Can I be able to provide, the best humanitarian care to the less privileged anywhere in the world? The answer is yes. So do I need to be in Australia? Do I need to be in Canada? The answer may be yes, the answer may be no. So you need to answer that question for yourself very clearly. What can I do to achieve this dream in this country? So if you say, okay, fine, this can be achieved in Nigeria, I can be successful, I can have an excellent practice, I can make all the resources that I need available to me in this same Nigerian space, what can I do to achieve it? So in Nigeria, I need to write primaries. I need to pass my Part 1 exams. I need to pass my Part 2 exams and become a consultant, get myself registered. Then what do I need to do? Okay, I want to settle down in Kaduna State. So I need to go there. I need to start working maybe in the hospital in Kaduna State, build my clientele, this and that. So, I want to change policies in government. So what do I need to do? I need to get a job with Ministry of Health. So you get a job with Ministry of Health, and then you gradually grow yourself up the ranks. And then one day you find yourself in the position to be able to change policies. You become a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Health, and then you're able to tell people, this is how things should be done. This is not how things should run. What are the peculiarities of the Nigerian market in relation to your dream? So if you're outside of the country, probably you don't need to set up anything with your own money. maybe there are people to fund you and everything like that. But in Nigeria, you know that, okay, I need to raise these funds myself. That is one peculiarity. The other peculiarity is, there's always strikes and other things like that. So there may be extension of my program beyond the number of years that I have planned out. And that peculiarity is, the nature of people that conduct exams. They have idiosyncrasies and everything like that. They make exams so difficult. So the question is, how do I overcome these people? So you go beyond just reading for exams to even studying the strategy for the exams. And when you study the strategy for the exams, it makes the exams easy because the stuff is not really the problem. So you need to understand the peculiarities of your environment and know how to achieve it. What are the modifying factors and the non-modifying factors? What do I mean? There are certain things that you can't change. You can't change the value of Naira as an individual. You can't change the corruption that is endemic in the government as an individual. You can't change the policy that people pay out of pocket for healthcare as an individual. But there are certain things that you can change. So those are the modifying factors. You can come to work early. You can give in your best within the hours of your work and even put in a little extra. You can choose to be a kind, polite, and gentle person. You can choose to train people that are under you. You can choose to give your best practice. You can choose to study, and make sure that you're not offering people outdated treatment options. So those are modifying factors, things that you can change in your environment. Then how do you navigate your path around these Nigerian factors? So for you to be successful in Nigeria, you must understand Nigeria, and you must know exactly what it takes, to be successful in Nigeria. So I had this very strong displeasure about the way that healthcare was being run in the government setting. And I decided that I didn't want to work in a government institution because things just don't work. That's the way I felt. You have to go and fetch water. When we're students, you fetch water to bring to the theater so that they can have surgery, and they're fetching water out of the buckets to pour in your hand so that you can scrub. And a lot of other things like that. You wear rags as theater scrubs. The patients are in very dirty smelling environment. It was just not a pleasant experience. And I said, no, I can't do this. So I finished residency 2014, April. I had 6 months, which I could work with OUTHC before I leave, but I didn't stay. June 2014, I was already in Abuja working with Cedar Crest Hospital. And because of my potential, I was sent to run the Cedar Crest Hospital in Lagos. I ran that hospital successfully and grew that business and learned about business in 3 years that I was there. In that period, I made sure that every year I was traveling out of the country for one training or the other. So by the time I was stepping out of Cedar Crest, I had already been to 3 different countries and I had gotten certification for training in different fields that I was interested in. I had picked a mentor in spine and I was assisting him in every spine surgery, even when I was not being paid. So in the space of 1 year, I had assisted in over 80 spine surgeries. So of course, I was on my way to being a spine surgeon. And then I left Cedar Crest and then I joined some partners from the United States and started CAS, Center for Advanced Specialty Surgery in Victoria Island, Lagos. And then I ran the practice for 3 years. In the 3 years, I grew that practice. I used all the management training that I had and knowledge I had from my previous place of work and built this practice. And I started to add international best practices. I had partners that were based in the United States. So I would go and meet them in DC. I funded myself. I flew myself to United States. I would go to DC, go to his hospital, work with him in the hospital there in the United States and learn how things are done over there. And then come back to Nigeria and then modify the things that we're doing in Nigeria. Then I would go elsewhere and see how things are done, and then come back, and then go elsewhere, see how things are done, and then come back. And that's what I did for 3 years. And then after doing that, I said, oh, it's time to now get started. Found a partner and then started Hospital for Trauma and Surgery. We're 2 years old right now. And in the space of 2 years, we've registered almost 2,000 patients, even in this pandemic period. We've done over 300 surgeries in the space of these 2 years. We've impacted lives. We've done free surgeries for people. We've helped people that didn't have a dime, because that has been my dream. And I said, even in private practice, I will still maintain who I am as a person. And I was able to achieve all that. And have we gotten to where we're going? No, I haven't gotten there. Is it a rat race? No, it's not a rat race. But I have a vision to build, a more specific, specialized center to be able to offer people the best care in orthopedics and spine care. We want to have a reverse tourism. We want people from other countries in Africa to be able to come to Nigeria and receive healthcare in our place and be able to say, oh, they give us exactly what we get abroad, but they're cheaper than what is abroad, And that has been my story, and still running after it, but we trust God. So this is the hospital. These are some pictures from the hospital. One of the things I said must be in our hospital is an intensive care unit. So we have a 2-bed ICU and a 2-bed HDU, total of 4 beds with ventilators and everything that you'd require. We have a standard theater, modular theater. We have a very lovely gym, fantastic accommodation for our patients, and all the amenities that you can get. And you wouldn't believe that all this came from just sheer determination, not capital from anywhere. Friends, family, and our own hard work was what brought us to this place. And today we can say, by the grace of God, we've been able to achieve what we've been able to achieve. I think at this point, I would like to stop and continue and let Alaba continue the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Badmus. Thank you so very much. I mean, this has been it's just amazing just listening to the story. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who would say, well done to you. Because where most people, in fact, some of us saw loads of obstacles and probably didn't have the grit or the determination that you had, but you've managed to surmount all of these obstacles and build something worthy of emulation. The floor is now open for questions. If you have questions, please feel free to put your hands up or just type it in the chat box, and we'll try to go through all the questions one by one. But I just want to say something is that personally, I've learned the fact that it's not easier anywhere else. You make things happen where you are, because wherever you look from that standpoint at that moment, you're more likely to have someone somewhere who appears or seems to be doing better than you. And if you make the mistake of rushing after their dreams and not your dreams, you're going to find yourself in a space where you're not running your own race, you're running somebody else's race, and you're not putting all your energy into what you should put your energy into, and you're actually trying to be someone else. In that case, it's a double loss situation where you don't really get anything out of it. So if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hands up. But my own question would be, Dr. Badmus, what advice would you give if I was a final year medical student now? I've got my firm plan to go into training in pediatrics in Nigeria, but I really don't envy what I see in the public hospitals, like in your case. What would be the first steps into starting my own thing? What would be the first steps into doing something for the dreams I've always had?
It always starts with the research. You cannot go to war without studying your opponent, without studying the war itself. You want to be a pediatrician. What is it about pediatrics that you love? What is the best practice of pediatrics that you know? What are the best centers all over the world that offer the best pediatric care? Read about them. Find mentors. Read about those mentors. Get to know about them. Follow them. watch their videos, learn from their lives. This, you don't even need to go anywhere now with the internet and social media and everything like that. You can watch almost everything on YouTube. You can watch procedures, you can watch, different things. You can attend courses and all that online. And then, yes, you're in Nigeria. There are certain centers that are best for training. They may not be the most convenient places, but you'll find out in Nigeria here, where is pediatrics best training coming from, or which centers have the highest pass rates in pediatrics. There must be something that those centers are doing. There was a time that pediatric surgeons all over Nigeria were coming to Ife to come and do a rotation, because if you've not passed through Ife, there are certain things you've not learned, and if you go for the exam, you're going to fail that exam. So they'll leave their comfort zone in Abuja, in Benin, in Kaduna, and come to Ife and stay under Professor Adejuribe and learn a few things, and then go for the exams and pass their exams. So you must do your research. You must know where you need to go to be able to achieve your dreams. And then the rest is easy. Just put in your hard work, be diligent, be consistent, and have that passion for what you're doing. If you love what you're doing, it's going to come easy to you. If you see a child and you don't want that child to die, you don't want that child to suffer, you will go back to your room after leaving the emergency, and you go and open your book and you find out what you need to do to save that child's life. And then in the morning meeting, you will have questions to ask your consultants, and it will make a difference in the life of the next child that comes around. So you must invest yourself to be able to achieve that excellence, to be able to say, yes, I have the best training and I'm one of the best pediatricians in Nigeria. Otherwise, you'll just fall in the crowd.
Thank you very much for that, Dr. Badmus. Any other questions for Dr. Badmus? Okay. I've got Akimbo Oluwadamilola with the hands raised. Please carry on with your question. Can you unmute yourself?
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. I'm Akimbo Oluwadamilola, final year medical student, and I want to say thank you very much, sir, for this very enlightening session. It was very eye-opening. I have two questions. My first question is, how would you advise that one would deal with having multiple interests in medicine? So for example, as a final medical student, I have interest in maybe surgery, pediatrics, psychiatry. I don't even know how to narrow it to one or two things. So how could I deal with that? My second question is, you talked about mentorship, and I want to know how you were able to get a mentor and what were the things you looked out for in getting a mentor. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, very good question, and very practical question. Of people have the challenges that you have, and that is choosing what line to toe. It's not an easy thing to answer. You'd have to dig very deep within and pray, and then sometimes events help to unravel where your passion is. You're going to go to house job. Trust me, you would rotate all these postings and you would know very clearly, very soon, the one that you don't like, So yes, in medical school, they all look so beautiful. They look so, appealing because they're like touch and go. You just come for the posting. Oh, you love this consultant. Oh, he carries you very well. Oh, this senior reg teaches you very well. Oh, because of that, you're falling in love with the posting. My dear, you'll start doing house job, and then you will be the first on call, and then you will receive the patient, and then you will go through the rigors, and then you would come out and then you ask yourself, do I want to spend the rest of my life doing this? So what you need to do when you are in that kind of situation is just prepare yourself for your house job and tell yourself that in this 1 year, I'm going to rotate through all these postings and I'm going to take down my notes. And at the end of this 1 year, I'm going to come back and review my notes, and then I'll know which ones I'm going to incline myself to. Then the other thing is selecting mentors. What kind of a person do you want to be? That's always the first thing, So, why do you love the lecturer that you love? Why do you like the SR that you like? So your first mentor doesn't have to be a professor emeritus from Johns Hopkins. No, your first mentor can be a senior registrar. Your first mentor can be an excellent house officer that knows his onions, carries himself well, you know. So your first mentor can be just the next person ahead of you, you know. And then you pick a teacher. So you don't have to have one mentor, actually. You can have a mentor in this aspect, in that aspect, in this. At the end of the day, you hope to even be better than your mentors. So selecting a mentor is not like, oh, I've picked a wife. No, a mentor is not like picking a wife. You can pick as many and you can drop them as you find out more about them, you know.
That's an unusual example, Dr. Badmus.
No, because if you pick a wife, you're stuck with that wife. If you pick a mentor, you're not stuck with that mentor, you know. So, but to encourage you, look for your values when you're picking a mentor. You don't want to pick somebody who does not share similar values with you. Look for your values and, you know, get somebody who you can be able to approach, talk with. And then some people you can even mentor you from a distance. You can just read about people. You can watch people. You can just study the way people do things. You may notice that this particular person comes to work 8 a.m. in the morning, and then he's in his office till 8 o'clock before he comes out for the rounds, and then he teaches you people, and then he goes for lunch, and then he comes. You know, you may just study the person's work pattern, and quietly, you're mentored by the way that person runs his affairs. You know, so there are many areas of mentorship that you can grab from different people. I think that's what I can say.
Thank you very much for that, Dr. Badmus. And I think you've just given the very practical example into how to choose. Now, if you grab a copy of most of the yearbooks from previous gone years, and then you go back now and look at all of those people, apart from a few people like Dr. Badmus who knew what they wanted to do from the start, some of us, in fact, the joke is when I picked up the yearbook, this was just earlier on this year, and I looked at it and I saw Dr. Gulia wishes to be a surgeon. The kind of laughter I had was so funny because yearbook is done at the end of medical school where, because I did a brilliant rotation with Prof. Salako, I don't know if he's still there. I was like, oh my God, I can be a surgeon. I'm going to be a surgeon. 2 weeks into house job, and after having some very exciting sessions with Prof. Adedri just before the exams, my life never remained the same again. And the surgical dream just quietly went into the back of my wardrobe. And of course, starting house job, I did it in Elisha, my house job in Elisha. And she's no longer there, Dr. Dedeke. Those of us who went far ahead would have remembered her. Working with her for just a month or two, there was no doubt in my mind I was going to be a pediatrician. And she immediately became my mentor. We talked a lot. She advised a lot, talked about exams and everything. So medical school is good because it is the foundation and it doesn't always tell you everything. And like Dr. Badmus said, when you actually become the doctor in those settings, you can definitely from yourself see where you have more peace than others, where you wake up in the morning and you're excited to actually go to work in that specialty. That will be the first inkling as to what you should be doing. So thank you very much for that. Concerning mentorship, one of the things we're trying to do with this program is to link people up. And I know we've not been very quick because people are really busy, but some of the times, some people have emailed us, we've linked them up with people in that same specialty. I was just going to ask Dr. Badmus on that occasion, if any of these guys listening to us today wanted to do an apprenticeship or something, let's say they've got a 3-month holiday and they want to come to HCS, would that be something you can facilitate or help with?
Okay, so let me surprise you. I've had 2 students, one from St. Kitts and one from one of the universities in the United States. They came home for holidays and they didn't want to stay at home. They were going to be around for a little while and they wanted to do attachments and they started attachments with us. One of them is still with us. You know, he is going to go and resume medical school in the United States, but he has spent 2 months now in our place. One of the girls was so good, we put her on payroll. I'll tell you that's how good she was. You know, she came from being an observer to being more like a clinic assistant. she was able to just help you out and do things and, you know, just make your life easy in the clinic. And I said, no, this girl has to be on payroll. So yes, you're always welcome to come and spend some weeks, some months, depending on how much time you have. And we'll be happy to let you just understudy our practice. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And if you send us an email, I'll put the email in the chat box, which I'll do once again. If you have any queries, any question, requests for mentorship, please send it to that email that we'll put in the chat box. And we'll try to link you up with the appropriate people. Some people have been really busy, but we managed to link up people in public health, Obs and Gynae we're still working on, and a few other subspecialties like that. But there are many opportunities out there. Alumni associations like this are set up to help everybody, because while we might get you guys into the system to help you, put you through things, it's also a way to make sure we are giving back to our university. Giving back isn't always about money. And in another 5-10 years, you guys listening to us today will be the one in the same situation, lending a helping hand to the coming generation, because that's the only way we can all get better. And I tell people this, without people like Hakeem, some of us who still have parents in Nigeria would have really struggled. But we have a dependable hospital because this is somebody we know character-wise, and we know how hard they do work. So I just want to say a huge thank you to Dr. Badmus. If there are no other questions, we'll be rounding up at the moment. Any questions or comments, please put your hand up. No, I think that is all good now. So I'll say thank you everyone for coming. We shall happily put all of this up on our Facebook page. It will be on the YouTube channel. It might also go on to our Twitter and Instagram feeds. We'll see you again the first weekend in March, first Sunday of March, same time, every day, every month. And thank you for joining us. Thank you, Dr. Hakeem Badmus. We really appreciate your coming today.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.